We've just finished our World War II project.
All about Spitfires.
We decided to do Spitfires because we thought they looked really cool.
And we didn't know that we were going to have some fun.
It all started when we went to Duxford and we met a pilot called Ian Blair who used to fly Spitfires and was the poster boy of World War II.
Hello, we are at Duxford, the famous Spitfire airfield.
We came here to look at Spitfires. There's one behind me. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Ashley. What is your name?
My name's Ian Blair.
Hello, Ian Blair. Nice to meet you. The first question is, where were you based?
Well, I was based mainly on the south coast of England. When I was flying there, we were constantly moving from place to place. It was in Kent. It was what they call 10 group.
Did you do any funny thing or cheeky thing?
Well, no, I was too much of a novice. Once landed an airplane with its wheels out, which that was a bit naughty.
What was your best moment about flying?
My best moment about flying?
Yeah.
Oh, we should say the best moment was when you got back on the ground safely. But you didn't mean that, did you?
When you first flew the Spitfire, did you know that it was going to be a special occasion?
Oh, it was a special occasion, and I'll tell you for why. I was trained as a multi-engine, trained to fly an airplane with more than one engine. And when I went to WWII, it was the first time I'd ever been in a Spitfire, let alone a single-engine aircraft. And you've got 9 feet of engine in front of you, which is blocks out your view of the ground. It's a bit tricky, but it worked out all right.
What was your scariest moment?
My scariest moment? I think my scariest moment when I came to make a forced landing in a field near Dover, just along the Swanage, near Swanage actually. And I picked a field to land, no engine, coming in from the sea like a day like today. And when I was about to set down in this field with no engine and no speed, I was confronted by a series of telegraph poles, which they put in the fields in the south coast during the wartime to stop aircraft landing. So I had to sort of quickly move into the next field, and that was about my scariest moment.
Thank you for letting us interview you.
Pardon?
Thank you for letting us interview you.
Yeah, well, it's our pleasure.
That was a good day. Do you remember the day where we went to the chapel in Biggin Hill?
Yeah, it was really nice for Laurie to show us around the stained glass windows.
Yeah.
Look at the propeller, and look at the wheel and the engine.
And look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Come on.
Good morning, welcome to Biggin Hill.
We came here to look inside the memorial chapel. Let's go inside.
Now, all these windows were installed in the chapel in 1955, and they're all designed by a man called Hugh Easton. So if we have a look in this window here, you see his little sign. You see, there's his surname there. That's a weather vane. So you've got Easton. That's the H for H, Hugh Easton, 1955. So that's when all these windows were made. And this window, as you can see, is for a Hurricane, which fought in the Battle of Britain. And what we'll do, we'll cross over to the other side, which is a Spitfire. And all these windows were donated by different people or organisations. So if we have a look at this one, there's the Spitfire window, and that was given by Vickers Armstrong Limited, who made the Spitfire.
Yeah.
And there's a Spitfire in the window. So we'll go down the windows and look at each window as we go, so you can see. This window here was presented by Fighter Command. And one of the glazers that helped to make this window flew in Mosquito aircraft during the war. So when they were making the window, he very craftily put a little memorial in the window to all his friends that flew in Mosquitoes that had been killed. There's a little memorial.
Mosquito.
Yeah. This is the Book of Remembrance, and the first job I have to do every day when I open the chapel is to turn a page. Now, if you have a look here, we've got Sergeant John Allen Scott, 74 Squadron. So if we just move round the corner, there's a picture of the pilot, one of the pilots that was killed today. So he was killed flying a Spitfire today. So if we have a picture of the pilot, we put them on display so people can see what they look like.
That was the same day we were invited to the hangar at Biggin Hill and saw all those planes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I got to sit in one.
If you can get up on here, then that's a good stage. Don't tread on that stuff in there, that's it. You can do it in one lunge from there. You left a leg behind. You've already found the gun button then?
Yeah.
Yeah? You've got machine guns there. You've got bigger guns called cannons there. If you want everything at once, it's the middle one. Which I'm sure he wants everything at once. But this is the same in any aeroplane. The pedals and the stick works the same in everything. Not just Spitfires. If you climbed in that one, you recognise all the same stuff. And you've got to be careful when you do that you're not whacking anyone in the chin.
Especially not my dad.
No, you might knock the camera out of his hands.
It's cool. We were very lucky to come to Biggin Hill today. Hello, my name's Ashley. What is yours?
Well, my name is Robin Brooks and I'm an aviation writer and historian, and it's my pleasure that I'm going to talk you around this aircraft. Would you like that?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, what we've got here, we have a Mark I Spitfire. This was one of the first Spitfires to be produced.
What makes the Spitfire better than the other planes in World War II?
Well, I think perhaps it's a combination of the design of the Spitfire and also the power plant, the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine.
How fast could it fly?
This one, the Mark I, could go just under 400 miles an hour, but later versions of the Spitfire could go up to 450 miles an hour, so that was very, very fast.
Can you tell us a little bit about this plane?
Of course I can, Cameron. This is a Mark IX Spitfire, which is bigger and more powerful than the Mark I Spitfire that you've seen over there. And do you remember I mentioned on the other aircraft about the cannons? Well, these are the cannons that it had on there, so the machine guns and the cannons. Okay.
I really enjoyed Madston New Sim.
Yeah, Paul took us round and showed us the difference between a Spitfire and a Hurricane.
Yeah.
We're here at Manston at the Spitfire and Hurricane Memorial Museum.
Let's go inside.
What's your name, first of all?
My name is Paul. What's yours?
Ashley.
And you're Cameron, aren't you?
Cameron, yes.
Hello, Cameron.
And what do you do?
So I'm a volunteer member of staff here at the museum.
Could you take us round the Spitfire, please?
Certainly. Let's walk around the Spitfire and we can see what we can see.
And could you tell us a little bit about the weapons?
Yes. Well, let's look at the guns first. The guns that are carried inside the wings. On this side, we've got 2 machine guns, Browning machine guns, and we've got 2 cannon, one of which is sticking out here, and the other is buried inside the wing. The Spitfire is known as the first all-metal fighter plane. The first Spitfire was made in 1936. This Spitfire was made in 1944, in other words, 8 years later. And one of the main things about Spitfires, compared to Hurricanes and other aircraft that came before the Hurricanes, is that it's made nearly all of metal. The first thing that the German Air Force had to do was to knock out the Royal Air Force. To do that, it was obviously going to bomb British airfields. And so on August the 12th, 1940, this airfield was very badly damaged by the German Air Force. And in fact, Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister, came here a couple of weeks later to talk to the people who were working here to keep their spirits up.
Talking to Peter Ayres was really awesome.
Yeah, and he's a very famous pilot. What is your name?
Peter.
What squadron was you in?
Why, my first squadron was number 73 squadron, but that was on flying Hawker Hurricanes. And a matter of days after war was to commence, the war was declared on the 3rd of September 1939, and not long after that my squadron was sent to France. And I was out there for nearly almost 2 years. And then we had to come out because the Germans were overrunning France. And if we'd stayed, we would have been prisoners of war. So we didn't want to be prisoners of war. So we came back to this country.
What did you like about the Spitfire?
Oh, first of all, when it was on the ground, it looked nice. It was a very smooth-looking aircraft, had a lovely design, and when you flew it, it was had a very, very good and high performance. Went very fast. It was the fastest aircraft we had in the Royal Air Force at that time, and I joined the Spitfire Squadron. And eventually, I hadn't been in the squadron very long, about 6 months, and I became a flight commander. So in a squadron, in a fighter squadron, you had the commanding officer, and under him there were 2 flights, A flight and B flight. And I went into one of the flights in the squadron and became a flight commander of that flight.
Do you have a best moment?
Well, towards the end of the war, when we had the best Spitfires there were, of excellent, wonderful aeroplanes, and I was a flight commander in this squadron I was in, which was number 124 squadron, and we did a lot of flying, and I enjoyed that very much. It was a good squadron, and I was one of the senior members because I had more flying experience than anyone else in the squadron.
Thank you for letting us interview you.
Wow. It's very nice to meet you two chaps.
Unfortunately, we didn't meet William Walker, but we did email him the questions. He was 99 and sadly died recently. He wrote many poems and inspired us to write a poem, but here's one of his.
Here inscribed the names of friends we knew, the young men with whom we often flew, scrambled to many angels high. They knew that they or friends might die. Many were very scarcely trained, and many badly burnt or maimed. Behind each name a story lies of bravery in summer skies. There are many brave unwritten tales were simply told in vapor trails. Many now lie in sacred graves, and many rest beneath the waves. Outnumbered, every day they flew, remembered here as just a few.
Doing this project, it has taught me that the pilots didn't get much training in those days, and it must have been scary.
Doing this project about Spitfires has taught me lots of things about the Spitfire and about the friends that we had and the fun that we had.
We'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone who made this project possible.
Thank you.